Hey guys, welcome to the Knot of the Week. Yes, I know, yet again, we're covering another splice. I promise this is the last one, but this is the back splice, which is, I think, a pretty important knot that you should know. Alright guys, so the first part of a back splice is tying a crown knot, which is actually a knot in itself that is good to know as well. So that's why I wanted to kind of start with this view so you could kind of see what the crown knot is doing. And I'll tie this again so you can actually see how it's tied too, but the premise of a crown knot is actually to stop a rope from unraveling just in itself. So you wouldn't necessarily have to produce a whole back splice to get the effect of a crown knot stopping, a 3-strand rope from unraveling. So this is basically just kind of a simple thing to produce. So what you need to find first in the 3-strand rope is kind of this point right here, which you've got a line kind of going each way, and you kind of see that rotational shape of the 3-strand rope. So the first thing you're going to do is kind of lay these across each other like this, kind of creating a pretzel-like shape. So one strand comes down, the other strand comes over, and then this strand actually goes inside here, like so, and you have to hold this shape while you go ahead and tuck this one. So that's the crown knot as you produce that. So the other thing that'll help you out too, and I've left this piece of electrical tape on here so it kind of holds this together as you're creating the crown knot, but as you'll see, we'll remove that as we continue on with the back splice. So what we're going to do is try to get this as tight as possible, and it's a little difficult to get this super tight with the electrical tape on here, this colored electrical tape, which makes a great training aid if you remember the other splices that we've done. So once you kind of have this tightened up, you can go ahead and remove this piece of electrical tape. And apologize, I didn't know I had 2 pieces of electrical tape on here. So what you're going to do now is basically start tightening this up a little bit further now that we can, and you're going to take kind of the over-under approach. So you're going to go over this line. We'll just start with blue because it's right here. And you're going to go over, just like that. And I'm going to continue to kind of pull this along as we go. And then I'll turn here, and then same thing. I'm going to go over this way and under this line here. So I'm going to lift this up, tucking the yellow here. And then twist one more time, and the red is going to go underneath here, just like so. So that is our first kind of rotation with this, and then we'll come back to yellow since we started there. And again, I'm going to go over this line. As you can see too, the twist of the line or the strand of 3-strand rope kind of has this natural twist to it, which is going to be continued as we go. So as we tighten this, you'll see that twist kind of is aided by this rotation. And I think we went blue next, if I remember correctly. It really doesn't matter which strand you go with as long as they're all getting a tuck before you start tucking again on the last strand. So that's 2 tucks there. We may be able to get a third in here. Not quite sure. Looks like we can just barely get all that in there, kind of lose that red there, but as you can see, it kind of tucked pretty well during this back splice, but if you're left with a lot of extra on the individual strands, you can always whip that too, which has a more, will give it a little bit more security as you create a back splice. Thanks for watching the Knot of the Week. We have come to the end of the proverbial rope with our Knot of the Week series. We've been at this over a year now, so producing over 52 different knots. While there's still a lot more that could be tied, we're doing something very interesting on the blackwork side with our knot content, so stay tuned.